Washington. The Republican tax bill headed for President Trump's desk is the most ambitious test yet of his approach to economic policy, that his ideas for strengthening American business will increase the prosperity of the American people. Mr. Trump championed the plan to cut corporate and individual taxes by $1.5 trillion over the next decade, foregoing revenue that could have been spent on new roads, worker training, or better schools, on the theory that investors will make better use of the money, creating wealth for all Americans. He is pressing to reduce federal regulation, declaring last week that the government has imposed too many rules and constraints, creating a burden that destroys our companies and hurts American workers. And bolstering business in the United States is the guiding principle of Mr. Trump's approach to trade. Although his vision of what will help companies competing in a global economy differs sharply from the perspectives of many corporate executives. Mr. Trump, whose worldview is that exports strengthen the economy while imports drain away the nation's wealth, wants to erect tariffs and other trade barriers to protect American companies from foreign competition, arguing that will translate into more and better paying jobs. In recent decades, both political parties pursued economic policies focused on helping people directly. Republicans championed lower income taxes, Democrats emphasized expansion of the social safety net. Both parties sought to improve education through regulation and subsidies. And presidents of both parties backed trade deals that sacrificed manufacturing jobs for a wave of imports that let consumers buy televisions, furniture, and clothing at lower prices. Mr. Trump has substituted a singular focus, increasing the output of the United States economy. His political opponents, and some of his allies, have criticized Mr. Trump's economic views as inconsistent. Some Democrats embrace Mr. Trump's concerns about trade deals while they bitterly oppose the tax bill and regulatory rollbacks. Republicans have welcomed his advocacy for tax cuts as some bemoan his protectionist approach to trade. But Mr. Trump sees tax cuts and trade restrictions as tools in the service of the same goal. "We're not going to lose our businesses again like has happened over the last number of decades," he said in an address that the White House billed as a closing argument for the tax plan. "America is coming back bigger and better and stronger than ever before." The tax bill epitomizes this approach. Republicans contend that reducing corporate taxation will encourage businesses to increase investment, driving faster growth and prompting businesses to pay higher wages. The White House Council of Economic Advisers projected that the plan would lift a typical household's income by $3,000 to $7,000 a year. "I think a rising tide does lift all boats," said Michael R. Strain, the Director of Economic Policy Studies at the Conservative American Enterprise Institute. "You increase incentives for broad categories of things like investment and labor supply, and you kind of let the economy do its thing.